Okay, day 157 of the cut, deadlift day, and really not sure what to expect here. Because on one hand, been able to progress deadlift strength pretty steadily since it was its shittiest a couple months ago. But on the other, still feeling pretty damn jet-lagged. So plan here is to do our best to progress, but if it isn't there, gonna try to realize it before I do something too stupid. But we are still going with the kind of stupid 3-plate first warm-up strategy, just to set the tone for the day. Knee timing feels better than Ireland, so I think we're off to a good start. And perfect world, after last week tripling that 255 kilo in Ireland, plan is to aim for a 585 triple if all things are a go. Now, if you're new here and wondering why you're watching a guy who's trying to triple 585 on a deadlift, well, a year ago, I was 325 pounds competing as a 308. Low this week was 227, and the whole reason I'm doing that weight loss is at 5'11", I'm too short to be a 308, and I was way too fat, so we're getting as lean as we can so we can build up better to do something very cool at 220 and 242. So yeah, numbers kind of suck right now while the diet is cranked, but that won't be for too much longer, hopefully.
No, this is my first time deadlifting.
Okay, I was gonna
Really?
say you could have fooled me.
With actually trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already looks better than Joel.
Ooh.
Anyways, 45 here. See if we can keep her not too shitty. Yeah, that wasn't too shitty. So figuring off of that straight to 555, and if that goes well, we'll go up again. Yeah, 585, eh? And you know what? Not perfect. Totally botched the head pack there, but I think that's good enough to go up for a bodyweight PR, which I am aware is very lame, but I'm still going to claim it anyways. And as not good as this is compared to where I used to be when I was fatter, it is certainly fun to not feel totally useless. Temptation to go 595 is real, but we're trying to be not too stupid right now. And mid-back got a little bit stiff after that last set, but nothing that a better head pack and quad push shouldn't fix. Also, my shoe broke, so hopefully that doesn't screw anything up. I think that's wise to just make that a single for today, which I'm not totally stoked on, but all that means is next week we just wave down in weight, run higher reps, and build back up to hopefully something that is less pathetic looking. Off that, I am annoyed right now that rep was as bad as it was, and it's like, yeah, I am head flicking more than I should be right now, but it's like, the head flick isn't the problem and why that rep was that bad. Like, the problem is I'm just weak right now, and I am still a little bit cheesed, but the thing is that I also understand why I'm weak right now. Like, I've only had 50 grams of carbs so far today, not a whole lot of fuel. So I gotta at least be okay with where I am, because where I am is where I am, and I can't let missing, well, not missing, but not completing a triple of 585 get in the way of making the rest of this session productive, so we're pulling off the broken shoes. So we can toss the loose sleeves on with the heeled shoes and go crank on some pendulums. This is the pendulum that Joel ran 3 plates per side on, so goal here is to see if we can get as close to that as possible. And working with Miana right now, so we're gonna have to use the little person height, which is gonna kind of suck, but we'll make her work the best we can. Try to feet a little bit higher there, I think. Yeah, it's a spot. Okay, 2 per side, which is what almost killed me last week. So we'll see if we can make her feel a little bit more doable here. Still pretty terrible.
It happened in like.
And I think what I gotta remember is when Joel did the 3 plates aside, he wasn't doing it with the heels up and really big knee travel, so I might have to be a little bit forgiving to myself here. But fuck it, we'll go 2 1/4. Fuck, what? Because that quad push problem on deadlifts ain't gonna solve itself.
And the only secret to being the best lifter you can be is falling in love with the kind of work that you need to be doing. And that is why lifters on the team are stacking PRs and 9 for 9 meet days. The team is going to give you sustainable programming that you will enjoy, that makes sure that you are doing the right work, sent straight to a super easy to use app on your phone. You're going to be getting same-day coaching on every single lift that you post directly from me. Plus, you'll have the whole community there to support you along the way. And all of it is at a price that cannot be beat. Right now, we've even got a 7-day free trial, so you can sign up at no risk at all. So if you're serious about leveling up your progress, hit the link and come see what the team is all about.
And even if I am weak right now on the barbell stuff, if I can keep the accessories cranked, we're gonna be a-okay when the food comes back in. On that note, one of the big things that I can give credit for the little bit of a deadlift strength comeback as of late, is for sure getting the pendulums to come up, but also working really freaking hard to make this ass good morning machine as strong as possible. Having that little bit of band on here makes it so much nastier. But the real secret to make better progress as a power lifter is to almost not give a shit where your main lifts are going, and then just crank the ever-living crap out of the right accessories to drive your main lifts, and then the main lift progress just kind of happens automatically. So we're slapping another plate on this stupid thing for the top set. Okay, let's crank. This thing is so unbelievably hard on everything that I want it to be. Seeing stars a little bit right now. Whew. Anyways, ditch the shoes and the sleeves because we're gonna run some Nordics. And I figure what I'm gonna start doing as far as periodization on these suckers is make the deadlift day easy mode as strict as possible, then push them harder at a lower setting on the squat day. Instead of just absolutely cooking the shit out of them on both sessions, then feeling like my hamstrings are gonna die. Need a little better control though. Trying to keep the hips through, which is making it very, very, very difficult even if the hips aren't all the way through. We'll get better though. And I think we might be just pretty cookered after the Saturday full range. And what I'm thinking is for set 2, we'll raise the sucker up one notch to see if I can keep the quality a little bit higher. No promises though. That was actually pretty okay, so we're going to try to keep at least that standard going. So gross towards the bottom. And that got really hard, really fast. That's what she said. Now to my favorite lat machine of all time. I do not care if you guys are getting tired of watching me use this thing because I am most certainly not getting tired of using it. And the wide handle was just on her, so we're getting a decent feel, so I'll probably just leave it on here. Maybe it'll help with that lat width issue that I was talking about in my check-in photos. Hopefully, because that is a major issue and I'm getting sick and tired of Cole making fun of me for my very narrow lats. Chug this one out and then go up for a top set. And that is about it for there. I think that's the most weight I've ever put on here, so hopefully it doesn't go terrible. And I'm thinking the hardest part of this set might be whether we can get in position. That was actually easier than I was expecting when I committed to just getting the foot high. Yeah, that's gross. We'll chug. And I think the reason why I'm so freaking in love with that machine is actually how the deadlifts went today, because even though it did not go well, it wasn't my mid-back that was the limiting factor. And as much as I've been enjoying cranking on the oblique stuff lately, like, I don't want to totally ignore Rex Abdominis, and they got a functional GHR in here finally, which pad angle not ideal for actual GHRs, but should be more than good enough for running some GHR setups. And seeing how this is feeling, probably gonna rig up a little bit of band tension to make it harder. Okay, band acquired. Starting not super aggressive because I don't want to die. Feels probably too easy, but I think for where we are today, just gonna run reps a little bit higher and make it work. And my goal is to try to get full hip extension to the bottom, curl up to the top, and make sure we're really keeping a strong ab flex the whole time. Oh boy. That actually got hard faster than I was expecting. Been saying that a lot today. And all that is like with where food is right now, gas tank, not very full, but we gotta work with what we got. I hate how much of a broken record I sound like during this cut vlog, but keep on saying it because it is important. Yeah, we are roasted, and with how that felt, probably a good thing I'm doing some straight line sit-up stuff today. And like, as not stoked as I am with how that 585 moved, I think considering the circumstances and how everything has been going the last few weeks, like, I got to be at least kind of stoked with how that 585 moved. And what I'm thinking off of that is, like I was saying earlier, I definitely need to wave down in loading, wave back up in reps, run some sixes for some weeks, run some fives for some weeks, build back up in threes, and see if we can do better than today. And like, by the time we get to that day where we're trying to do better than today, I'm going to be lighter than I am now. So even if we just match it or get close, like, I'll be pretty darn okay with that. But obviously we want to beat it. And I think seeing that bit of head flick that I was having trouble with. I do need to find a way to work stiff legs back into the plan without totally cooking myself. And I think the options I got are, number one, I could try to squeeze it in after deadlifts on this session, or number two, I could swap out the good mornings on the squat day for stiff legs. And I think with how I have been feeling, I think the better option will be kind of squeezing her in on this day, then maybe pulling some things later on out. Because the problem I've had in the past with running stiff legs on the squat day is that stiff leg fatigue from the squat day tends to bleed into my next deadlift day. So I think I'd rather make this day a little bit gnarlier than try to squeeze the stiff legs in place of those good mornings. But I think overall, like, really stoked with how training is going, really stoked with how diet's going, really stoked and getting more and more and more excited for food to come back in as we're feeling lower and lower and lower. And like with last week being kind of screwed up in Ireland, Justin made 0 changes to the diet. This week being, you know, now that we're back home, I think today was check-in day. And like I always kind of am talking about what I'm expecting to happen, but I think that I'm definitely expecting things to get a little bit lower from here, which on one hand, not very excited about. On the other, am very excited because getting lower is going to mean that things are just going to keep on keeping on. And if things keep on keeping on, that means we'll get to put food back in sooner rather than later. And I think that's what I got for today, guys. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully the cut series isn't too sad and pathetic, because it's starting to feel a little bit sad and pathetic, but we got to do what we got to do. So peace out, have a good night, and see ya in the team.